Well, speaking of spam, I have 12:15. So, good noontime and welcome to Rotary. Today, we are so glad that you have joined us. We have a wonderful program scheduled just for you. But before that, Jan, would you be so kind as to bring us to order today, please?
Of course, let's pray. Gracious Lord, we give you thanks for this day, this time, and we give you thanks that we can look forward to getting together next week, whatever the menu is. And Lord, we give you thanks for this community of Kingsville and all those who serve it. Pray that you help us in Rotary serve those who serve us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jan. And Marty, would you like to lead us in pledge today, sir?
My pleasure. Please hand over your heart, and I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, sir. And Lucy, are you alone in your office?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But would you be so kind as to lead us in song today?
I will try.
Yay!
All right. Rotary, that spells Rotary. Rotary is known on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, one profits most, who serves the best. Rotary, that spells Rotary.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Lucy, so much. And let's see, welcome Norma and welcome Terry. Let's see, do we have any visiting guests today? We have one guest, but we will get to him in just 1 minute. I don't see any visiting Rotarians. Okie dokie. And we do have a Rotary anniversary. Deb turns a Rotary 7. That's like Rotary first grade. So go to Club Runner, find her phone number, and wish Deb a happy 7-year anniversary. And let's see, do we have any happy dollar announcements today? And Terry, that's a handsome shirt that you have on. Seeing no happy dollar announcements, not a problem. Moving on. First item of business is invoices have recently gone out. Thank you to those who have paid. Thank you to those who are about to pay. And if you have any questions about how to pay, please do reach out to your very favorite director. So just a little recap on why invoices are kind of crazy right now is officially we are between treasurers. That does not mean that we have 2 treasurers working. It means that we have no treasurers working. So we were invoicing monthly, and that fell through the cracks with the old treasury. And so we got caught up on old invoices. And the reason that we're charging for the upcoming quarter is we'll be moving back to quarterly billing. Linda Hahn has agreed to assist us in the future just to get kind of settled back in while we find a new treasurer and or treasury team. And Linda much prefers quarterly invoicing, and it just makes the accounting and things a bit simpler. So that's why we pre-invoiced for the coming quarter, just like in the old days. And hello, Steve, welcome. And so also in that email with the invoices is a link to the Square account if you would like to pay online. And you can choose your number of months and number of polio contributions and other things like that. Thank you, Kingsville. Thank you, Crystal, for putting that link in the chat box. If you prefer to pay by check, we can certainly still accept those. The PO box is on the invoice, and Crystal checks our PO box regularly, 14 times a day, I believe. She's on top of it. And so if you still have any more questions about that, never hesitate to reach out to your very favorite director, just not the treasurer right now. That treasurer will not respond. And so thank you in advance for all of that. And moving on. Well, first, do we have any more questions that we should address about invoices here in the big room?
So those who will be eating the in-person meals for May and June, you will get billed for those separately since we didn't pre-bill anybody for that.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Crystal. Back in the old ways, we would pre-invoice you for not only your dues, but also for our weekly meals, whether you were planning on coming or not. But that obviously isn't fair right now. And so in the interest of the four-way test, we will only bill you for the meals that you actually consume. And Jay Dean, sir, the floor is yours.
And so just with the billing, I just wanted so the goal, I guess, is by the new Rotary year, back to normal. If what is normal, that we okay. 10-4. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that is probably what will be happening. Is once we get back into our weekly groove, then we will be pre-invoicing for the coming quarter with meals attached.
Say, Justin.
Yes, sir.
Kind of on a separate topic, and you may be addressing this momentarily, but I understand that we're kind of also between eating establishments. Can you maybe update us on that?
I absolutely will, and thank you for bringing that up. In fact, give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, and I'll officially bring it up.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions about invoicing for now?
2 shakes of a lamb's tail. That really
That's
gets
right.
my goat.
I see what's happening there. Scottish humor.
Can't pull the wool over your eyes.
We're sure glad you're here, Steve. And also upcoming this Saturday, District Assembly Part 2. Part 1 was last Saturday, focusing on foundation. This week, we'll be focusing on membership, maybe some public image, definitely some youth service, definitely some Rotary Leadership Institute, and much, much more. If you did not register or attend last week, not a problem. You can still register and attend this week, particularly important if you will be upcoming club leadership, secretaries, treasurers, foundation chairs, membership chairs, so on and so forth. And so more information about District Assembly is in our weekly bulletin. It is on the district website, rotary5930.org, and on our website, rotarykingsville.com. rotarykingsville.com, and this concludes our Rotary Minute. And in addition, next Monday is Rotary After Dark. That is the 24th at 6 p.m. at Bray's. We will be in person for barbecue and beverages. If you or someone you know or love would like to meet us in person for our evening committee, then please do join us at Bray's next Monday, May 24th at 6 p.m. Look for the rowdy table. The next day, Tuesday at noon, will be our monthly hybrid meeting, and that is at the Helen Clayburgh Community Center, home of the Women's Club of Kingsville. It is on Yoakum, just down the road between Epiphany and the retirement home across the street from the Methodist Brookshire building, I believe. And let's see, so you might notice that we haven't been to the Helen Clayburgh Community Center in several years, and we are sort of taking this opportunity to try out some places around town. It's the very old Rotary way of rotating our way through town to offer our business and camaraderie to local eateries and other establishments. And so this time will be at the Helen Clayburgh Community Center with catering by Old Girls. And so you are officially invited. There will be several more announcements on that, but remember, in person next week, not at Cherry Tree, but at the Helen Clayburgh Community Center. And we look forward to knowing very soon where we will next be meeting in person. There are a few places on the books as potentials, but we are finding our way through the world. And I know that's not a great answer, but Marty, does that help just a little bit?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And don't forget Rotary International Virtual International Convention. Registration is open. It is $65 and it is a week long of learning, fun, and extravaganza. And so if you can find time in your schedule for some or all of the virtual international convention, we certainly do encourage you to try and do that. And we have some prospective members. Both the Govins, Gordon and Ruth I. May, have been approved by the board, and we are now on their second reading. They are somewhat new to the area and are very interested in community service. They are the married dynamic duo leadership team at Presbyterian Pan American just south of town. And so if you know of any reason why they would not be great Rotarians in our club, then please do reach out to your very favorite director and let your concerns be known. Otherwise, soon we will be welcoming them into the fold. And new member orientation coming soon. And now on to our featured presentation. We have with us Chief Juan J. Adame from the Kingsville Fire Department, and to officially welcome him to us is, I believe, Crystal will be doing these honors, and she is not shaking her head no. So I will now turn the floor over to Crystal.
So Fire Chief Juan Adame is going to be celebrating his 1-year anniversary as the Fire Chief of Kingsville on June 1st. He has an extensive career as a firefighter, over 47 years as a firefighter, medic, prevention officer, inspection officer, training officer, and even the teacher at the Firefighting Academy in College Station. It's a big whoop there. He has also been prior Navy after he was born and raised in Corpus Christi and was prior active duty Navy before going into the Navy Reserves and retiring in 1997 as a Chief Warrant Officer 4. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can please introduce Fire Chief Juan Adame.
Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for the number one. Thank you for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be here. And actually, this is the first opportunity that I've had to meet with any organization or talk about, my most favorite subject, and that is the fire service and especially the Kingsville fire and EMS. And also, I want to spend a little bit of time also talking about maybe not my favorite subject, but is one subject that we need to start prepared for. That's because June, as everybody knows, in South Texas, June 1st is the start of hurricane season. And we're starting to see more and more that actually hurricane season starts a little earlier than June, than the 1st of June. But speaking of first of all, I'll start with talking a little bit about your Kingsville Fire Department. And it's been needless to say, just like everywhere else, it's been a pretty trying and pretty hectic year. I came on June 1st, right at the beginning of hurricane season last year, and right in the middle of the COVID pandemic. And during that time, your Kingsville firefighters worked very hard to make sure that they made all the commitments that they are sworn to do as your Kingsville firefighters. So they did excellent work. They have been doing excellent work up until that time and continue to do so. The fire department is 34 firefighters in the Kingsville Fire Department, and we make responses out of 2 fire stations. One fire station on 10th Street, right close to your HEB, and the other is on Armstrong, right about a block down from the university. Both stations are staffed with fire trucks and with medic units. And the Kingsville Fire Department is a full service department. By that I mean the firefighters are trained to not only as firefighters but also as paramedics, EMTs and paramedics. They're trained to respond to hazardous material incidents. They respond to just about any type of incident that can occur, that can and does occur in a community. That's why we consider ourselves a full service department. Typically, we respond to about a little over 3,000 calls a year. Majority of those calls are EMS calls. As a matter of fact, about 2,900, a little over 2,900 of those calls are EMS calls. Depending on the type of call that we respond to, we'll respond with a medic unit, which are designated as advanced life support units. That's because each medic unit has at least one paramedic assigned to it at all times. And depending on the call, we'll either respond with a medic unit and also with a fire truck. So the typical response is at a minimum to depending on the call, like I said, it's the minimum of 4 firefighters will respond to a call. A lot of times folks ask us, well, why are you sending a fire truck and when we just wanted a medic unit to respond? Some of these calls we respond to require more than just 2 people to help and work on patients. So we're constantly seeking opportunities to serve our citizens and to assist them in any way possible. In addition to those 3,000 calls, our average response time is right at 5 minutes, or a little less than 5 minutes from the time we receive the call and respond to unit and to get on scene. So in addition to the full-time paid firefighters, we also have a volunteer department that is funded by the city and is part of the fire department. And these folks are, like I said, they're volunteers. So they're not paid. They train regularly. Every Tuesday night they meet for training and meetings, and they'll work many times right alongside the paid firefighters. So they're a great asset to the organization, and especially during times when we've had a couple of here recent within the last couple of weeks where we had some pretty some heavy weather, some inclement weather where we had quite a bit of rainfall, and some we've already started to see some flooding. So it doesn't take much to for our streets to get flooded in certain areas, as you all know here in Kingsville. So when we run into these type of issues, we run into power lines and those type of things that come down, these folks step in and assist us with it. The volunteers are also, we also respond out when we need, when the other communities in the county need assistance. The volunteer fire department will make calls and will dispatch a unit and volunteers out to that location. They've been the majority of their calls out in the county typically deal with brush fires. We've had a number of brush fires here in the last few months that our volunteers have gone out to assist. We've had quite a bit of rain. Things are nice and green, but we all know how what the rest of the summer might look like. Things will start drying up. This grass that's really been doing a great job growing will start to dry up and get pretty gets pretty dry and gets pretty flammable. So so we'll start seeing some of those type of calls tick up during the summer. And throughout the year, the fire department does a number of things that they. Some of it is required by statute, and some of it is something that we do to enhance our preparedness, and that's train. Firefighters in the state of Texas are required to mandate a certain level of training, not only on the fire side, but also on the EMS side. So they're going through quite an extensive amount of training annually. Firefighter paramedics are probably some of the most highly trained public servants out there. They're typically a young man or young woman that wants to become a firefighter paramedic. Their training can last up to 18 months, depending on where they're going to get the training, so they can get their certifications to function as firefighters and as paramedic level medics. So the training is quite extensive, and so they're constantly working to prepare themselves to go out and help folks when they're having the worst day of their lives. Nowhere. What I've always liked to talk about the level of the dedication of these folks. I mean, these men and women that are members of the fire service. I mean, they'll doesn't matter who the person is or who the call is to. We treat them with the same compassion and care as we would anybody. So we're pretty proud of that. We're pretty proud of that level of service. This week is EMS week, so it's a week that's set aside to recognize those folks that provide this level of service throughout the country. So got a great department. Got outstanding men and women. We don't have any women on the fire department at this point in time. Recruiting is one of those things that we do year round. So we try to recruit an organization that reflects the community that we serve. So we're always hiring. We're in the hiring process right now of to fill a vacancy that we have in the fire department. Also have a full-time fire marshal that goes out and inspects buildings, approves permits, depending on what's the level of construction that's going on. The fire marshal is required to do some things. All new construction, all new businesses that are opening requires that the fire marshal inspects and signs off on. As we start coming out of this pandemic, as we start opening up more, hopefully we'll be able to bring folks into to tour our stations. I've recently had a request from a Boy Scout troop that would like to do something. Either visit the fire station or we visit them or do something. So we're looking forward to doing more of those things. Fire Prevention Week is a big, and that'll be coming up in October. So hopefully we'll be at a point to where we can do a lot more in our community. So that's kind of an overview of your Kingsville Fire Department and some of the things that we do. Now hurricane season, like I mentioned, starts June the 1st. So now is a time that we recommend that folks start to prepare. We've been, we've all lived or most of us have lived and grown up and worked in South Texas, so we know about hurricanes. But there's certain things that we want to make sure folks key in on, and before that June 1st deadline or June 1st date. Developing that, highly recommend that folks develop an evacuation plan. Start thinking now about where do you want to be if something happens that you need to leave the area. How are you going to get there? Do you have the means to make that evacuation? I heard the conversation a little bit ago about power loss. That's something we deal with, I guess, year round. We came out of that ice storm, that winter storm where, we had all those issues with power and stuff like that. So we strongly recommend to start assembling your disaster supplies. Start having those things, those non-perishable things, those batteries. Make sure you got working lights, not candles. Don't want to see any folks using candles, but flashlights and those type of things. Make sure you have your go-to box ready to go. Your whatever you're going to need for that period of time that you're going to be that we may have to hunker down. There's during city employees are essential employees, so they can't evacuate. They're going to be here. We're going to be here, but people need to understand that at a certain point, if we're unfortunate enough to be caught in a storm, there's a certain point of time that we hunker down here also, where we don't respond. Typically, our cutoff point is about at a 55-mile-an-hour sustained wind. We'll take our units off the road. It's too dangerous to have them out there where they may also become victims. So we need to be prepared as citizens, we need to be prepared to deal with those issues as they come up. Check your insurance policy. Make sure you're ready to go. Make sure your home is in good shape, and there's anything that needs to be done. We need to check with our neighbors. Make sure we take care of our neighbors, and at that point, especially the elderly. There's sometimes that if you have an elderly neighbor that may need assistance, start having those conversations with them now to make sure that they're ready. And finally, write things down. That kind of helps you, get everything in line. Make sure that you dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's and hit all the check marks. So these last few hurricane season have been kind of unique. We've had some close calls. We had one that looked like it was coming straight for us last year, and then just veered off to the south. And so the year before, there was areas, communities in our area that weren't so lucky. So we need to be ready. We need to encourage our citizens to be ready for this next season. So those are kind of the highlights of the hurricane season. Some of the highlights of your Kingsville Fire Department. I'd be very happy to answer any questions or if you got any comments.
Thank you so much, Chief. We did have a question in the box. Do most of your recruits come from the community or from elsewhere?
Most of the recruits come from the immediate area, the community and the immediate area. Our last new hire was from the city of Robstown, and everybody there's a lot of competition for firefighters. We've had a number of our firefighters have gone on to other departments. So yeah, we try to recruit heavily in the area.
Thank you. We had another one. With Kingsville's aging population, is the Kingsville Fire Department spending more time on home falls or falls that are occurring in the home?
We do get calls for people falling in their homes, the elderly falling. We do get those type of calls, and that's a good question. That's a good question that I need to really research. But yes, the answer is yes. We do get those calls. A week doesn't go by that we don't get those type of calls to assist. Sometimes folks just don't want to call us. You know, they think they're bothering us, especially some of the elderly. We encourage people. You know, if you're unsure or if your family members are unsure, please call 911. We need folks to let us know.
And I have one more here. Rotary International always has a theme for the year, and our upcoming year is Serve to Change Lives. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, how can our Rotary and our community help support the Kingsville Fire Department?
Well, one of the things that we like to do is any opportunity that we have to get out into the community, whether it's like this to put on presentations, if you have an other event that you'd like to invite us to participate, we're always looking for those type of opportunities. And or if you know of any opportunities, please let us know.
And I did have another question. So do y'all get calls from citizens who are worried about calling because they're afraid of receiving a bill from the Kingsville Fire Department or from EMS? And how do y'all address those, or how would you like us to help address those to the community?
Well, the EMS is not free. It's not, it's not like fire trucks. If a fire truck will go to make a call, there's typically not a charge. There is a charge for EMS, and that's handled through the folks' insurance, is through Medicare, Medicaid, those type of. It's where we do the majority of our billing, but that's done after the fact. We don't ask for payment. There's no requirement that somebody, pays before they'll get service or they get transported. So we encourage folks. We let folks know that is not should not be an obstacle in calling the fire department. And so we encourage people when they think that there's a need for 911, do not hesitate. We make calls to folks, don't want to, for one reason or another, they may not want to be transported. We try to get folks to, if when our firefighters, medics assess them, that they'll try to encourage them to go to the hospital. And so if there's any opportunities to get that message out, that's the message we need to get out to our community.
Thank you so much, Chief. And if anyone else has any other questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I will turn it back over to Justin.
Thank you.
Well, if we don't have anything else, thank you, Chief. We certainly do appreciate your time with us here today. And don't forget, we are meeting in person next week. So if you would like a meal on us, please do feel free to join us and pencil us in to your schedule next Tuesday at noon. And while you're doing that, why don't you grab a pen and put us in for every Tuesday at noon? Because earlier before the meeting, we understand that you used to be a Rotarian with the Rotary Club of Corpus Christi. And so it's a short step to joining us. And so we certainly appreciate that, Chief. And we know that we will see you again. So thanks so much for your time here today.
Thank you very much.
And we do have a few things upcoming on our calendar. This Saturday, the 22nd, starting at 9 a.m. is District Assembly Part 2 via Zoom. And Crystal, thank you so much for putting that link into the chat box already. And there's also links in our website, on the district website and the bulletin. If you are planning on being in local club leadership for this upcoming Rotary year or any time in the future and would like to know more about duties of secretary, treasurer, foundation chair, public image chair, membership chair, youth chair, or anything else having to do with Rotary, please do feel free to join us this Saturday. Registration is free, but you must register to get your personalized link for Zoom. This coming Monday, 6 p.m. is Rotary After Dark at Braze. The following day, Tuesday at noon, the 25th, we will be hybrid at the Helen Clayburgh Community Center, home of the Women's Club of Kingsville on Yoakum, between Epiphany and the retirement home across the street from the Methodists. The next Monday is the first Monday of the month, and so we will have our regularly scheduled board meeting via Zoom. Later that week is the 2021 Virtual International Convention. Registration is open, $65 per person. It is money well spent. You don't need to buy a $1,000 plane ticket to go to Taipei, Taiwan, where we were supposed to be this summer. So $65 is a small fraction to pay for lots of Rotary learning. Rotary Club of Kingsville Installation Banquet is underway. Plans are in the works and more details coming as soon as possible. And let's don't forget that on July 1, in approximately 43 days, 11 hours, and 9 minutes, we will be under new management. And we are super duper extra excited for our current president-elect, Crystal Emery, to be our new president of the Rotary Club of Kingsville. And does anybody else have anything for the good of Rotary today? Seeing none, it is time now to go to our weekly Paul Harris drawing winners. And for that, we go to our weekly drawing boards. And so if you and your pair entered, let's find it on the leaderboard. Not a whole lot of stiff competition this week, but that's okay. It still goes into the W column. So thank you, my pair, for answering the phone. And remember that every week is a new opportunity to make your deep and lifelong lasting relationship with your fellow Rotarians and future friends in our club. And to do that, we go to Club Runner, either on your big device computer or your small device phone. If you need help with either of those things, please feel free to reach out to your very favorite director, and we will get you more information on how to make your connection with your fellow Rotarians. And now, if you will, please join me in the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? That's all for today, folks. Thanks so much, Chief, for being here with us. Thanks, Rotary members, for being here with us. We're here every week, same time, different place. And next week, we will see you in person in all three dimensions at the Helen Clayburgh Community Center. Thanks so much, y'all. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.